This is Athena Jezik. We're going to work a little bit on the feet, and for me to get started here, I'm going to go back and rotate that leg so that it's laying a little bit more in alignment. And there we have it. Okay. The feet are probably something that we neglect a lot, and the feet are so great for us because it takes us, if it weren't for the feet, we wouldn't really be able to get around too well. Some of the biggest abuse that we do with our feet is stick them in hard shoes and don't allow those bones to move. The feet will get stiff and sometimes swollen. And feet are really meant to walk on uneven surfaces, outdoors. There's a lot of little bones in the foot. A lot of feet. I've seen a lot of feet over the years, and everybody's feet are really, really different. So I'm just going to work the bottoms of the feet. I'm not doing foot reflexology, anything like that. I'm just working into the muscles and into the bones and making sure that the muscles are soft and that the joints in these in the foot area are able to move. So that feels like there's a range of motion happening with each of these different the tarsals and the metatarsals. And take the toes in nice, good range of motion. Big toe. Bending the toes back and up and back. And when you do this, you want to make sure that you're in tune with them so that you don't overstretch. Sometimes when people have very, very stiff feet, you want to go very slowly into the stretching. And then work them a little more and then take them into another stretch if they don't seem to stretch out real quickly. And then you do the same thing on the front of the toes, just getting in between the toes and up the top of the foot. Okay. And same thing on the other foot. Yeah, getting that and then just working along. The edges of these feet and see where there's, sometimes when children are stuffed into shoes that are too small for them and they don't get shoes that fit so their feet will grow, but they're in these tiny little shoes, that will sometimes distort the toes. I knew somebody one time who was in cowboy boots as a child, and his toes actually folded up on top of themselves as an adult, and he couldn't really get them down. The little toes were pulled in, and his toes were on top, and that was from that cowboy boot. And he told me how his feet were hurting all the time, but he had to, that was his only shoes. So as parents, you want to, pay attention to your children's feet. And I think, of course, I'm a barefoot person myself, but I think going barefoot is a good idea. If you have a nice lawn or a nice yard, or there's a nice park when you can actually take your shoes off and walk in the grass, it's nice not only for just the foot, but it's also just nice to connect with the energy of the earth with the feet. Just feels good to connect. It's not any weird spiritual thing or anything like that. It's just a nice way to be in our environment and appreciate what's out there for us. Going around the heel bone, the calcaneus, you can kind of rub it a little bit. Sometimes you'll find a lot of callousing on people's feet. You can just don't pay much attention to it, but that's a lot of it is how they walk. You'll notice it. The callousing is where they heel strike and toe strike and whatever else is going on. But it's nothing to really be over concern with. Now, some of the times there has been times when feet have been a little clubbed, which means that they bend in this way. There's a little bending from the cuboid bone over with the metatarsal, and it's hard to do this because this foot isn't a sickle foot, but it sickles inward. If it's not a real severe sickling, I have worked with people who I've been able to actually correct that sickling. If it's a real deep sickle, then it may be able to be corrected, but it would take an awful lot of work to correct that. So I guess what I'm saying here is with just patient work and unwinding fascia and helping bones to find another position and then letting them find another position on their own can really have some profound results. But it's not a one-time fix-all thing. It's something that has to also be worked on. And for any of you who might be challenged by that, I just want you to think about how much we are programmed to the continual appointments and the continual tests to see if we've got any disease going on and all of this checkup stuff, how we will do that. And yet we just aren't programmed into putting good things in our bodies with good food, or even taking the time to really do some quality resting. So hopefully it's my hope that we begin to change that way of thinking and we move more into the preventative mode, and a mode where we're just honoring ourselves. I think that's going to be a very nice change. But it's going to take every one of us to do it. So her feet look pretty good. They're nice and pliable. They're movable. There's no stiffness left in them, other than what we might need to work in the ankle, because the ankle seems like it doesn't have a lot of range of motion, but it's not bad. Okay, thank you so much for your time. This is Athena Jezik.